35 minutes past the hour. It is hour number 3, the morning show with Preston Scott, Tuesday, July 26th. Great to be with you. We've done 3,402 of these things, and they haven't changed the locks on me yet. Thrilled to have with me on the program U.S. Senator Marco Rubio. Senator, good morning.
Morning. How are you?
I am great, sir. Just heard from Karen Vaughn, the mother of former Navy SEAL Aaron Vaughn. She said, thank you for your support of veterans.
Absolutely. My brother's a veteran as well, and we've done over 4,000 individual cases through my Senate offices over the last 5.5 years of veterans, a series of issues, mostly VA, but there's some other issues that come in play every now and then, and we owe them so much. And with an all-volunteer force, we recognize that these are people who are, a lot of weight's been put on their shoulders. Some of these people are multiple deployments, sent 3 or 4 times, and then in the case of special operators, like a Navy SEAL, my goodness. My brother was a special operator. He was a Green Beret, and they take on an added responsibility and danger involved in their work. So we're a grateful nation.
Senator, what's it going to take to get this veterans issue across the finish line, even as something as simple as handing these guys basically a medical debit card where they can just go get help?
Well, there's a lot of we're trying to do a couple things. One, that's on the choice side, we've been pushing hard on that, and I think it's going to take a change of administration. You have the White House under President Obama actively resisting any sort of change programs and accountability too. I mean, they begrudgingly allowed us to signed a law last year that I passed along with Jeff Miller of Florida as well, that said you can fire any senior executive at the VA who isn't doing their job. But that's all in the execution. Despite all these problems that the VA has, they fired like 2 people. And both of those are on appeal, and they might even win. So now we want to pass a second law that says, all right, you can fire anyone who's not doing a good job. And by the way, the enormous and vast majority of people at the VA do a great job. But you have some people that have gotten either lazy or incompetent. They need to be removed like they would, there at your studio or anywhere else for that matter. And you can't do it because the law prevents it. So we've got to get that through. And right now, who's blocking it? To be frank, a lot of Democrats who are listening to the labor union that represents federal workers.
By the way, you should know that incompetence is rewarded here in my studio. Okay, I'm just letting you know.
I don't think that's true. You wouldn't be on the air this long if that was true.
No, Marco, he was looking at me when he said that.
Okay.
Well, and I don't know, you I'm certain you weren't listening to the program, but last hour we had Professor Alan Kruger, who served with President Obama's economic team, and he announced last hour that there is no debt crisis yet, Senator. I thought I'd relieve you of that burden if you get reelected here.
Well, that's like seeing the troops amassed at the border and saying there's yet no invasion. But that's what's coming. And I think it's silly to say that. All you got to need is a calculator. Sit down and do the math. $17 trillion. It's going to blow up in the next few years. Everyone knows what happens when you get to a point where people lose confidence in your debt. They start charging you higher interest rates to buy U.S. Treasuries. That means we're going to have to borrow even more money just to pay the interest on the debt. In fact, we'll be spending more on the interest on the debt than we do on our military. And at some point, it spirals out of control. You can't keep borrowing at this pace, and that's why we need to save Social Security and Medicare. And that takes political willingness, which, quite frankly, neither party has had for the better part of 2 decades to confront this problem.
Senator, we got about a minute left in our visit, and I know we're going to have a longer visit sometime in the next few weeks, but just quickly, reset for our listeners. And Senator, there are some that are saying, wait a minute, you ran for president, and one of the reasons why you initially didn't want to run for re-election was the Senate was just not a place where you felt like you could be productive. So just reset for us in 35, 40 seconds. What's changed for you?
Well, I ran for president because I felt that after having such a terrible president, we needed a president to undo this damage. No doubt that the presidency is powerful and influential. I'm frustrated about the Senate. I remain that way. Who's happy about the way Washington works now? Who's happy about the direction it's going? But giving up and allowing Chuck Schumer to become the majority leader of the Senate is not the answer. And I honestly felt, after looking and praying about it, that we had a chance to prevent that from happening, and that's why I'm in the race, because we're not going to have a Supreme Court justice that I'm going to vote for or allow to move forward that, for example, would rewrite the Constitution in a way that violates the intent of the framers. So we changed our mind, and we changed it for the right reasons. We want to make a difference. The Senate is still a place where you can make a difference, but Washington's broken. But giving up is not the answer.
Senator, look forward to our next visit. Thanks for just a few minutes this morning. I appreciate it, sir.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, as always. Senator Marco Rubio with us for a few minutes on the morning show.